What's up, everyone? I'm Rick Knight. Welcome back to another video here at The Bad Philosopher. Okay, so we all know about what's going on with the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, who recently came under fire for wearing blackface in a 1984 yearbook photo when he was in medical school. Now, first he admitted that was him. Then he said, after speaking to friends and colleagues and family, that wasn't him, but he has worn blackface to imitate Michael Jackson in a talent contest. So he said, no, that wasn't me wearing blackface in those pictures, but I wore blackface before. Also, he advocates for killing babies, newborn babies, who are not viable or have who are deformed in some way. Now, these are babies that are born. They're here. They're in front of us. They're actually alive. He's advocating for killing them if the mother and the medical professionals decide that's the best thing to do. From my understanding, it's within a 12-hour period of birth that they would do this execution of a baby. I'm saying, why 12 hours? Why not 13? Why not 15? Why not a day? Why not a year? Why not 5 years or 10 years? Why not anyone for that matter? Why does it have to be 12 hours? Who decides the time frame? But the bigger issue is not killing babies. The bigger issue is, how dare he wear blackface in 1984? Now, usually I would defend people like this and I would say, okay, enough already. This happened in the past. He's not the same person, even though he's a Democrat, and I'm on opposite ends of him, and I would like to see Democrats' career end. But I would have to be fair. If this happened to someone on my side, like when they went after Kavanaugh, I said, look, not only is there no evidence that it happened, but this was also in like 1985 or something, and to even investigate something from back then, you're not going to really get any real information. And it was also a long time ago. Why are we still holding people to standards of their old them and not the standards of who they are today? So this governor wore blackface. He admitted to that, and what I would say is, it was in 1984. He was young. He was stupid. He might have been doing it just for the shock value of it. Maybe he was doing it just to be funny. Obviously, it might have been something that was taken serious at the time, at least not most likely serious as far as a joke, because they allegedly used to call him Coon Man for wearing the blackface. Again, I would judge him on the person he is today and not the person he was in 1984, because I don't think that's fair. But the way they did Justice Kavanaugh, they should be compelled to hold the standards that they have, and they should demand for his resignation. The left should be running around with their hair on fire, demanding that he steps down. Okay, so let's go to a news article. This article is before we get into the news article, let's know that the plot thickens, because not only is the governor of Virginia under fire right now, but now the Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, is under fire when a second woman just came forward and said she was sexually assaulted by him. Now, this wasn't in 1984, and this is a sexual assault, so I'm going to say there is no let bygones be bygones, and let's just understand he's a different person now. One rape, I believe, he's accused of one rape in 2001 and 2004, and this is sexual assault, and it is something that we should be taking serious, especially when we should #believe all women. So let's go to the article. This article is from CNN, so you cannot say that I'm being biased, because CNN is kind of like, it is this second, it is like, the holy Bible to the left is the New York Times. That's kind of like the Old Testament. This is CNN's the New Testament for the social justice warriors. Okay, a second woman has come forward to say that she was raped by Democratic Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Meredith Watson alleged that Fairfax assaulted her. Was premeditated and aggressive when they both attended Duke in 2000, and that the two were friends but not romantically involved, according to a statement from her legal counsel, the firm Smith Mullen. Okay, so 2000, they were in I don't know if they were at Duke University, I guess. I don't know what they did, if they were classmates, if they worked there. I don't know whatever it was, but allegedly, he sexually assaulted her in 2004. He's also accused of assaulting another woman. Okay, Ms. Watson shared her account of rape with friends in a series of emails and Facebook messages that are now in our possession. So if that is the case, from 2000, she sent emails and messages to friends and whoever that she was sexually assaulted by this man back then, it is kind of covering her ass, covering grounds for her. This is a form of documentation. This is a form of keeping record of something that you were thinking of or going through or whatever at the time. It doesn't mean that she's telling the truth. It only means that it's not something that she's making up now and then trying to fit it to back then. Obviously, she had something back then, and it fits to today. So that's something that will help her cause. That will help her make her look like she might be telling the truth. But again, I believe in due process, and just because we're accusing him, that doesn't mean he's automatically guilty. And he should have his day in court, whether it's a criminal court or a civil court or a court, ethics court, to keep his job, whatever the case may be. Just to be fair, what they did not want to give Justin Kavanaugh, what we were asking for, is what I'm going to ask for this man, even though I'm against him politically. Okay, let's further down. Watson is the second woman to accuse Fairfax of sexual assault this week. Vanessa Tyson, a professor in California, released a lengthy statement earlier this week detailing her alleged encounter with Fairfax during their time at the 2004 Democratic National Convention in Boston. Now, I don't know what statute of limitation they have on rape in Boston, but if he could be charged with rape, then I guess so. If not, then I don't know. I don't really know what could be. They'll probably have some type of trial to see, some type of ethics court or something to see if he can keep his job. I don't know if he could be charged criminally. Let's see. Miss Watson was upset to learn that Mr. Fairfax raped at least one other woman after he attacked her. The details of Miss Watson's attack are similar to those described by Dr. Vanessa Tyson. Fairfax has previously denied Tyson's allegations. Here's the thing. I don't know if Miss Watson is guilty or not. I'm going to reserve judgment until all the facts come out. I'm not going to hashtag believe all women just because she said it. I'm not going to demonize him as a rapist just because, he's accused of being a rapist. I try to be as fair as possible. I think we all need to be as fair as possible. We need due process. He's innocent until proven guilty. We shouldn't, rush to conclusion. We need an investigation, and we need to sort out the details and try to get to the bottom of it the best way we can. And if we can't, we should not demonize a person and ruin their lives and their career off of allegations. We need to, just the facts, ma'am, pretty much is what we need to do. But to the left, no, you cannot do that. You see, this is what we were asking for Justice Kavanaugh. That's not what you wanted to give us. You wanted to demonize him. You wanted his career to end. You wanted his life to be ruined. So now I am compelling you, left, you social justice warrior, you hashtag believe all women, to all the women in the Women's March, to all the feminists out there. I am demanding that you demand for his career to be ruined, for his life to be ruined, for him to resign, for him to step down, for him to have just be completely destroyed in every single way that you wanted Kavanaugh destroyed, just so you could play it fair. That's what I need you to do. That's what we need you to do. And we, on our side, need to ask of him the same thing we asked for Justice Kavanaugh. A fair chance, a fighting chance, a due process. He's innocent until proven guilty. Let's see if we could find evidence to back up these women's stories. Let's be as fair as we possibly can to make sure we are making the right calls and the right decision. Okay, now let's get that. Watson is now seeking financial damage and has alerted Fairfax through her legal team that she would like him to resign, the statement adds. Here's the thing about this. If she was attacked in 2000, she should have came forward. I understand sometimes women don't want to come forward in a case like this. Within a sexual assault, there's a whole bunch of reasons to not come forward. It's so easy to just tell someone, "Oh, you were raped." Just speak out, call the cops. There's shame involved. There's embarrassment. There's a whole whole mixture of emotions involved in why people do what they do and don't report things and whatever the case may be. But I wish he would have came forward back then, and at least he would have had a strike on his name. At least it could have been investigated. Maybe they could have, maybe there would have been evidence of a rape, and he would have been convicted. And he wouldn't have even been at that Democratic National Convention in Boston in 2004. Or if he would have struck again, it would have sealed the deal for him with a second, a second charge of rape. Okay, she's seeking financial damages, of course. I don't know if that will happen, being that it was 19 years ago. Her legal team released an email exchange between Watson and a former Duke classmate from October 2016, in which Watson responds to an invitation to a fundraiser for Fairfax by saying, "Justin raped me in college, and I don't want to hear anything about him. Please, please, please remove me from any future emails about him, please. Thank you." Just more evidence, more reason to believe that it's possible she's telling the truth. Again, I'm trying to be as fair as possible. I don't think, logically speaking, I don't think this has been a plan she's been setting in motion since 2000. I don't think she's been planning this out for 19 years. I don't think she would have known where his career would have gotten him 19 years later. Is it possible that, I guess it's possible, but I just don't think she would have made this up about, what a coincidence. She decides to make up an event, make up something that happens, tell people about it, not only back then, but then in 2016 when she gets some type of email about him, she's like, oh, no, he raped me. I don't want anything to do with him. I don't think this is something she's been planning out with the hopes that he might make it in life, and then I can ruin him, and then I can take money from him and ruin his career. I just don't. I don't believe that. I think there's reason to believe that she might be telling the truth. Okay. Fairfax swiftly denied the allegations and called for an investigation into the... Okay. Of course, he's going to deny it. I mean, there's no way, he's going to say, yeah, I did it. I did it. I'm a rapist. So the lieutenant governor cited his prior FBI background checks and campaigns and yelling no such history, and stressed that he would not resign. The same thing they said, the same thing with Kavanaugh. We said he's been checked from the FBI like 6 times already, and then the left said, well, he wasn't accused of any of this. It wasn't on his record because there was nothing reported. So you checked him, you did a background check, he was clean. Of course he was clean. Nobody reported anything against him. Well, same thing with this guy. Same thing with this dude. Okay, there was an FBI background check. What does that mean? The report came out now, not back then when they did the check. So, to the left, this is the same thing. I have passed two full field background checks by the FBI and ran for office in 2 highly contested elections with nothing like this being raised before, he wrote. It is obvious that this is a vicious and collaborated smear campaign is being orchestrated against me. Here it is. Now, he's the victim, right? He is the victim. Tyson accused Fairfax of sexually assaulting her while they were both in the 2004 Democratic National Convention in Boston. She said it went from consensual kissing and quickly turned into a sexual assault, and on and on. Okay, well, you pretty much get the gist of this, of the video, that Virginia, the politics in Virginia right now is falling apart. The Democratic governor and now the Democratic lieutenant governor are just in shambles right now. Their whole party is completely wrecked. But I guess the blackface is probably still the worst thing that can happen in all of this, is how dare he wear blackface. You have a man here accused of raping 2 women, and it seems to be a lot more credible evidence, or at least credibility from the women, than there was in the Kavanaugh situation. I think the left really needs to set their hair on fire and run around screaming right now against Justin Fairfax. I don't think that is happening. I don't think they are outraged as they were as Kavanaugh, but the real problem is the blackface. Speaking of blackface, so the story gets even worse now, because not only do we have a problem with the governor, but the attorney general in Virginia, who called for Governor Northam to step down over blackface photos, has come out and said that he too has worn blackface. I'm not making this up. This is real. let's go into it. Let's see what this is about. This is from the New York Times. As we know, it is the Old Testament for the left. Okay, here it is. Richmond, Virginia. The third-ranking elected official, Virginia Attorney General Mark R. Herring, acknowledged Wednesday that he had worn blackface at a party as an undergraduate student, deepening a crisis that has engulfed the state's Democratic leadership. Oh, this is amazing. And just 2 hours later, a woman came forward to describe her details in her okay, no, that was going into Fairfax. Okay, but it's just it's insane right now. So the number one guy they're asking him to step down because he was wearing blackface. The number two guy is accused of rape. The number three guy who said the first guy needs to step down for wearing blackface now admits that he wore blackface to a party. This is a dream come true. This is the perfect reason why the people on the left needs to walk away from the Democratic Party. They need to up and leave and get away from them as fast as they can. The left, they are everything they claim that we are, everything they claim we to be. That's exactly what they are, and they mask it well. No pun intended. This is what they do. They accuse us of being racist, and then it turns out that they're actually pretty racist themselves. They accuse us of hating women and abusing them and raping them and all this nonsense, and it turns out that that's exactly what they're doing. But you don't see the serious outrage against them the way you see it against people on our side. Naturally, you're gonna get this. Naturally, one side is going to try to be very unfair, to the opposition, and they're definitely going to want a double standard. They're going to protect their side when their side does wrong, and then completely vilify the opposite side for doing the exact same wrong. I'm calling for a little more fairness. We need due process. We have to make sure that the person who's accused of committing whatever act they commit, that they actually did it. Don't believe anyone just because they said it. You have to hold everyone to the same standards. You have to make sure you're not going to ruin anyone's career. You have to make sure you're not going to ruin anyone's life. Make sure you're not sending anyone to jail who doesn't deserve it. So, what we called for the Kavanaugh investigation is the same thing that we should call for the Fairfax investigation, for fairness, for due process, for the right for him to defend himself, for the burden of proof to be placed on the people that's making the claim that he did it, and to not jump to conclusions. Don't believe the women just because they said so. Don't not believe the women just because whatever, but don't believe anyone, and be willing to have an open mind and hear all of the information, all of the details about the case, and use logic and reasoning plus evidence and data to come to a conclusion. Don't just rush to judgment and say he's innocent or guilty. And this is the exact same thing we asked for Kavanaugh. This is what we should ask for Fairfax. But the left, you cannot do that. You have to assume he is guilty. You have to believe the women. You have to demand that he steps down. And if he doesn't, you should show up to his office and you should bang on the doors. You should protest. You should be extremely angry at him for what he has done. You also need to be very, 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 very angry at Governor Northam and the Attorney General Herring for the blackface situation. We know that the politics of the left is race, gender, and sexuality. These two individuals have committed a serious sin in the social justice warrior religion, and they need to be punished. This is blasphemy, and they need to be fired or resign, and you need to hold them to that. And you need to go to war against them. This is what you need to do. As hard as you went after Justice Kavanaugh, you need to go after these two men. Okay, well, that's all I have. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to post a link to these articles in the description. Please like, comment, share, hit the bell, and I will see you guys on the next video.